This is my previous camera that failed on me, and I've since replaced it with a semi-professional JVC that's actually rather complicated and has quite a learning curve to it, and I'm still kind of learning the ins and outs of it. And love or hate the new camera, it's here to stay. But I thought I would give this one a shot as far as repairing it. Now the problem is the display died. And the initial thought was perhaps the flat flex had gone bad. And this is a model, this is a JVC Evro or Eviro or however you say it. GZE200 BU. And one night I was just Googling flat flexes for this camera, and for $5 from China, you get this shipped. So I figured I might as well give it a shot because the camera works and everything. It's just that the display is dead. And you might say, well, you know, just plug a display into it and use it. Well, you could do that, but you can't get to any of the on-screen programming menus. And the last video I did before this thing crapped out, I had put this in manual focus, and I cannot get it back into automatic focus without the display. So let's tear it apart. Dave of the EEV blog did a teardown video on one of these, and so I kind of referenced that as far as how to get this apart. So I got a bluey here. I'm gonna get into it and see if I can get it apart and change the flat flex. All of these screws, these little microscopic screws, I've laid them all out as I've taken them out of the thing because they're all different. There's about 4 different sizes, and basically there's 2 down there at where the screen attaches, and then that allows you to remove this little piece of plastic, and then I was able to work this off. It looks like I might have damaged that flat flex there for the microphones, but I'm getting it to the point where I can get it apart. It's very difficult to get this apart. Okay, I'm starting to get into the meat of this thing now, and this connector right here almost looks like one of these. It's like a puzzle trying to take this thing apart, and the microphone flat flex plugs in right there. I'm kind of in over my head here, I think, which is no surprise because I usually work on vacuum tube equipment. But look at how they have this flat flex here wrapped up in a circle so that you can swivel the head, the viewing LCD. I'm sure, I have a good feeling this is what's wrong with the camera, but I just cannot figure out how this thing comes apart. That flat flex just tore right there, and obviously it plugs in here and it's got a screw in it down there. But how do you put this together? In what sequence? Okay, I think I've figured it out kind of here. This being the display has to be assembled first, and then it bolts onto the side, and then the side, the flat flex here, is screwed in right here, and then when the side goes on, it all goes together. Now if I can do that, whatever, but I kinda doubt it. This is really small and fragile stuff. Okay, look at how they got this wrapped around here. It's going to be interesting to see if I can duplicate something like that. Well, look at that. Sure enough, that is exactly the same thing. It's just about getting it back together the same way. I think I've actually got it back together. There's a little tiny magnet, little round magnet down in here that helps hold the it acts as like a spring kind of to hold the thing open. So you got to be careful with that little magnet. You got to kind of put it in as you're assembling it. But I think I actually kind of got this thing back together. I doubt it's going to work, but it's making some interesting video. Now to feed it through here and reassemble this onto here. And look at this. It appears that I did not assemble it right. I need it to be coming out down here, not up at the top. So at this point, out of just sheer irritation and contempt for this thing, I hooked it up before I straightened that flat flex out, and I wanted to see if it would actually power up and, you know, identify whether the flat flex was the issue with the display. But it's not, it won't turn on, and I have a feeling that there is the magnet that I talked about being in here, there is a sensor somewhere here that picks up that magnet. That's how it knows when the display is opened or closed. Okay, well, upon further investigation and analyzing what that magnet did, and I can show you that magnet. It is, I'll find it in a second, but I noticed that the old flat flex had this little guy here, and it's probably a magnet or a Hall effects sensor, and the new flat flex did not come with that part soldered onto it. So there is no way that I can do that. I do not have the equipment or the experience in doing that. And here is that little magnet right here that actually, I believe what this magnet does, it's picking up everything on the table right now, is it goes up against this Hall effects sensor here. It goes up against that sensor, and that's what tells the camera that you've opened the door and to turn on. So I'm gonna have to call this thing EOL'd, and no way I can do that. So it would be hard enough for me to get it back together at this point. So the new camera is here, and the new camera is what we're gonna have to all get used to, because it's not going away. It's not getting replaced. So thanks for watching a total failed repair, and we'll work on a vintage TV hopefully tomorrow.
I just want to extend my gratitude and just say thank you very much to the man who just helped me fix this milling machine. My Kearney and Trekker Part 2, the knee installation Part 2, came out an hour and a half ago. Well, it's about 2 hours now, but an hour and a half after it posted, I got a text message from Keith Rucker. Keith said, "Hey, did you happen to run it with the, try the power feeds with the spindle running?" And I said, "No, I never even tried that. I didn't think about it." He said, "Well, on my mill, the power feeds won't work unless the spindle's running." I said, "Well, that's worth a shot, so we're going to give it a try then." So I fired it up, and lo and behold, it freaking works. It actually works, and everything works good, man. All the power feeds work, all the rapids is working just like it's supposed to. So, Keith, I can't tell you how much I'm thankful for you texting me or you watching the video and seeing that and helping me troubleshoot that, and suggesting me try that, because you just saved me a lot of work. I was getting ready to pull this thing back out and inspect the oil lines again, and that one little thing, just turning the spindle on, is what the problem was. So now it's making a little more sense. If you watch the video, and I showed this valve body here on the side, there was a circuit in there that I wasn't sure of, and it's attached. There's an oil line, and I showed it in the video. It goes all the way to the back of the column, and there's an oil line hooked to it, a hydraulic line, and I wasn't sure what that's for, but now we know that it's feeding off hydraulic pressure somehow from the column. That I haven't tracked that part down yet, so I don't know exactly how that's working. But once you turn the column on, it does take a few seconds. It's probably going to take about 6 to 8 seconds maybe for it to come up on the gauge. That may need a little bit of adjusting back here on the column. There's ways you can adjust it back there too, but it builds pressure and it works. So thanks very much, Keith. So the mill is fixed now. Whatever it is that I did, it actually fixed it. So we're getting hydraulic pressure, and the rapids are working, and now the feeds are working. Okay, so I think everything's working fine. We got lubrication. I see the pressure over here for lubrication. I still need to hook up the automatic oiler that bolts to the side here that provides way lube oiling. I haven't done that yet. That's not a big deal. That'll be next on the list, is getting that hooked up. I've got the little parts here that James sent me that hook all that up. Okay, and I think that's going to be the last thing. Besides that, I need to figure out a coolant system for it. I haven't decided on that yet either. So anyway, enough with the talk. You want to see this thing run? I want to set it up. I'm going to bring the camera over here a little closer so you can see it running, okay? All right, hopefully you can see the gauge here. We're going to go ahead and fire the machine up. It's back here. Okay, so for all you safety Nazis. All right, you turn your spindle on up here on this switch, and we're going to watch the gauge here. Let me just make sure that y'all can see it. All right, spindle's on. There it goes, it's building pressure. So maybe about 10 seconds or so. Showing about 200. There's our our X movement. You can see with the hand wheel here. We can hit our rapid. All right, let's do our Y. All right, and we'll do our Z. Moving down. And it's coming back up. So I showed you before, wrap it up is still very weak on this. I don't know what's up with that. It may be lack of lubrication back there because it hasn't been lubricated in a long time. I don't know what it could be besides that. So it's actually stalling the motor. I pulled this cover plate off and looked, and the motor stalls. So I don't want to do that too much, but if I want to bring the table up, I can just power feed it up. This is our fastest feed right here. Working great, guys. Getting about 210, 215 pounds on the gauge there. It's supposed to be between 200 and 225, so I think we're right in the range of it, proper operating. Shut that off, the pressure here stops. Well, I'm really excited about it. It's Saturday evening. I haven't even got to enjoy reading all you guys' comments yet for the new videos, but I'm gonna go ahead and get this one made, post it tomorrow, and go ahead and start making plans on getting the mill ready for use. We'll get the vise set up, and maybe we'll do some milling on that machinist vise over here now that we know it's working. So thanks again, Keith Rucker. I really appreciate you getting in touch with me about that. I really appreciate that. All right, guys, that's it, man. So to celebrate the mill actually working right, I went ahead and got everything set up here. We're going to make our first official cut with the power feed. Okay, so that's just a scrap piece of cold rolled. I didn't even measure what the OD is. Let's see. It's a piece of 2 7/16, and I picked out a 7/8 stagger tooth cutter. So what we're going to do is replicate milling a keyway, so we'll be going 7/16 deep. All right, I've already got it touched off, and we got a flat on there, and so we got to bring it up. See, I got the digital readout hooked up. I went ahead and brought out the mini cool from the Noga. This is the first time that we've used it. I went ahead and got it hooked up. Just I happen to have a fitting from coil hose pneumatics from Phillip. So I screwed that on there, and we've got that. And then I mixed up a bucket of cool mist right here. we got the cool mist going, and I pretty well got her regulated. It's on a rag. There's a rag right here. Okay, pull it out. You can adjust the air here, and you adjust the flow down here. So let's go ahead and bring it up. 7/16. Alright, 437, 7/16. Alright, here we go. Alright, we engage the feed. Slow the feed rate down 1 notch. Making some shifts, guys. Getting a little bit of vibration on the bottom of the cutter. Making some steam off that cooler though. Check out our cut. Looks pretty good. Perhaps I could tighten this up a little bit. move the cutter in a little bit further and bring the overarm support in. It also works really well when you've got two of these. You got one on each side supporting it. But I think we did pretty good for our first official cut on the K&T with the power feed working. That was our first cut using power feed. I'm happy with it. We're doing good. We're almost there. We're about ready to use it. So thanks for following along with me. And we've had our trials and tribulations, but I think we're about to overcome all of them. So we'll see you later.